Okay, I hope I don't run into some problems this time. Good evening, television fans. Big Hal here on this Monday, August 11th, 2025. Or if you're in Mountain Daylight Time or on the East Coast, it's already Tuesday, August 12th. But either way, welcome back to episode number 20 of Television Station History. This will be the last episode until about February, as I'm about to be dropping football content on the channel here as soon as tomorrow, where I am, and later today elsewhere. Alright, so today we'll be talking about the history of KCOP-TV, and again, this is the last installment of TV station history until football season wraps up in February. So with that, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. And before I begin, I want to apologize for the other couple videos that only recorded about 2 minutes or so. I have realized once I had the video uploaded that it really wasn't uploaded, which is pretty strange. I don't think that's happened to me on Prism Live, but it's all good. But now let's talk about the history of KCOP-TV. This information is, as always, courtesy of Wikipedia. KCOP-TV, Channel 13, branded as Fox 11 Plus, is a television station in Los Angeles, California, serving as the West Coast flagship station of My Network TV. It is owned and operated by Fox Television Stations, alongside Fox outlet KTTV Channel 11. The two stations share studios at the Fox Television Center in West Los Angeles, and Channel 13's transmitter is located atop Mount Wilson. Alright, let's jump into the specs of KCOP-TV Los Angeles, an ATSC 3.0 station. The station broadcasts on Virtual Channel 13 and RF Digital Channel 13. On-air brand, as mentioned, is Fox 11 Plus. We'll talk about the sub-channels towards the end. Owner is Fox Television Stations LLC. Sister station is KTTV. Channel 13 signed on the air on September 17, 1948 as KLAC-TV, and then they would become KTTV in 1954. The station previously broadcast on VHF Analog Channel 13 from 1948 to 2009 and on RF UHF Digital Channel 66 from 1998 to 2009. KCOP was originally an independent station for a big chunk of their history from 1948 to 1955, with a secondary affiliation with the Dumont Television Network from 1950 to 1955, and then it became the UPN station for Los Angeles throughout that network's run from 1995 to 2006. Call sign meaning is Copley Press, former owners of the station. KCOP is licensed by the Federal Communications Commission to broadcast at 120 kilowatts. Their transmitter is located on Mount Wilson at 2,969 feet above average terrain, and we'll also talk about the network of translators that they operate as well. Their website is www.foxla.com/fox-11-plus. Alright, diving into the early history. Channel 13 first signed on the air on September 17, 1948 as KLAC-TV, call sign meaning Los Angeles, California, and adopted the moniker Lucky 13. It was originally co-owned with local radio station KLAC 570 AM, and operating as an independent station early on, it began running some programming from the Dumont Television Network in 1949 after KTLA Channel 5 and its affiliation with the network after a one-year tenure. One of KLAC's earlier stars was veteran actress Betty White, who starred in Al Jarvis's Make-Believe Ballroom, which later became Hollywood on Television from 1949 to 1952, and then her own sitcom Life with Elizabeth from 1952 to 1956. Television personality Regis Philbin and actor and director Leonard Nimoy also worked behind the scenes at Channel 13, and Oscar Levant had his own program on the station from 1958 to 1960. On December 23, 1953, the now defunct Copley Press. Let me read that again as I was yawning. Sorry about that. On December 23, 1953, the now defunct Copley Press, publishers of the San Diego Union Tribune, purchased Channel 13 and changed its call letters to the current KCOP, which reflected their ownership. A Bing Crosby-led group purchased the station in June 1957. In 1959, the NAFI Corporation, which would later merge with Chris Craft Boats to become Chris Craft Industries, bought Channel 13. NAFI and Chris Craft would be Channel 13's longest tenured owner, running the station for over 40 years. For most of its first 46 years on the air, Channel 13 was a typical general entertainment independent station. It was usually the third or fourth highest rated independent in Southern California, trading the number 3 spot with KHJ-TV Channel 9, now CBS-owned KCOP-TV. The station carried Operation Primetime programming at least in 1978. Good evening, Anna. Thanks for joining. How are you doing? In the early 1980s, KCOP became one of the many stations in the U.S. to broadcast Starfleet, aka X-Bomber, a science fiction marionette series which originally debuted in Japan in 1980. During the 80s and early 90s, it was the LA home of Star Trek The Next Generation, as well as Star Trek the original series before it as early as 1970, as well as the Arsenio Hall Show and Baywatch. KCOP was the original Los Angeles home of the syndicated version of Wheel of Fortune, and the station had also picked up Jeopardy from KCBS-TV Channel 2 in 1985. Wheel of Fortune's longtime announcer Charlie O'Donnell died in 2010 and was a former staff announcer and news anchor at Channel 13. Both Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy moved to Channel 2 in 1989 and later to its current home, KABC-TV Channel 7 in 1992. Channel 13 aired select episodes of the Australian soap opera Neighbours from early June to late August of 1991. The station tried airing movies 6 nights a week in 1992, however, they fared poorly. KCOP partnered with New York's WWOR-TV and MCA-TV Entertainment on a 2-night programming block entitled Hollywood Premiere Network, starting in October 1990. Channel 13 carried the Primetime Entertainment Network, or P10, from 1993 to 1995, and Channel 13 also carried the Spelling Premiere Network at its launch in August of 1994 on Thursday nights. UPN affiliation, 1993 to 2006. On October 27, 1993, Chris Craft and its broadcasting subsidiary, United Television, premiered, or rather partnered, with Viacom's newly acquired subsidiary Paramount Pictures to form the United Paramount Network, otherwise known as UPN. making KCOP the Los Angeles affiliate of the network. UPN debuted on January 16, 1995. The following year, Viacom bought 50% of UPN from Chris-Craft Industries. At the network's launch, which also served to launch Paramount's Star Trek Voyager, which was the first series ever shown on UPN, KCOP served as the West Coast flagship of the network. During the late 90s, the station began carrying a large amount of younger-leaning talk shows such as Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones, and Montel Williams, plus reality series, some sitcoms during the evening, and syndicated cartoons such as Double Dragon in the morning, as well as the popular anime series Sailor Moon. In 2000, Viacom bought CBS and Chris-Craft's 50% ownership interest in UPN. On August 12th of that year, Chris-Craft agreed to sell its television stations to the Fox television station subsidiary of News Corporation for $5.5 billion. This was a deal that would be finalized on July 31st, 2001, which would create a duopoly with Fox-owned and operated KTTV. Upon being sold to Fox, the Fox Kids weekday block moved to Channel 13 in the mid-afternoons, only for it to be discontinued nationwide in January 2002. KCOP still ran UPN's Disney's 1-2 block during the morning until the network ended that block's run in 2003. Soon after, the station ran an hour-long morning cartoon block supplied by Beak Entertainment, but dropped cartoons entirely in September 2006. Channel 13 was the last local television station in Los Angeles to air cartoons on weekdays. Like the other local stations, the cartoons were replaced with infomercials. In a separate transaction from its purchase of UPN, Viacom purchased KCOP's rival KCOP-TV Channel 9 from Young Broadcasting on June 1, 2002. Rumors persisted that UPN would move to the higher-rated Channel 9, reverting KCOP to independent station status. However, Viacom decided to continue operating Channel 9 as an independent, as Fox renewed affiliation agreements for its UPN-affiliated stations for 4 years, keeping the network's programming on Channel 13. From UPN on to My Network TV. With Fox's acquisition of KCOP, the station abandoned its longtime Hollywood studios at 915 North La Brea Avenue, which was once home to the classic Barry and Enright produced game shows The Joker's Wild and Tic-Tac-Doe, and short-lived Barry and Enright entry played up percentages, with KCOP's news and technical operations being moved into the Channel 11 facilities at the Fox Television Center. That took place in 2003. The La Brea Avenue studio was put up for sale, with Fox electing to keep the facility, remodeling it to house the first 2 seasons of the reality series Hell's Kitchen. It was eventually abandoned with fixtures in place and became a haven for squatters who were evicted by police in May 2009. The studio was eventually torn down, and currently the site is now a Sprouts store with a large apartment complex that opened in November of 2015. On January 24, 2006, the Warner Brothers unit of Time Warner and CBS Corporation announced that the 2 companies would shut down the WB and UPN and combine the network's respective programming to create a new 5th over-the-air broadcast network, the CW. KTLA Channel 5, which had been the market's WB affiliate since the network's January 1995 launch, became the CW's Los Angeles station as part of a 10-year affiliation deal between the new network and KTLA's then owner, Tribune Broadcasting. My Network TV affiliation, 2006 to the present. The CW's initial affiliate list did not include any of Fox's UPN stations. But even without the Tribune affiliation deal, it is unlikely that KCOP would have been picked over KTLA, as the CW's management was on record as preferring the WB and UPN's strongest affiliates. Channel 5 had led Channel 13 in the ratings dating back to when they were both independent. The day after the announcement of the CW's pending launch on January 25th, 2006, Fox dropped all network references from its UPN station's on-air branding and stopped promoting UPN's programs altogether. Accordingly, KCOP changed its brand from UPN 13 to Channel 13 and amended the station's 2002 logo to omit the UPN logo and just featured the boxed number 13. On February 22, 2006, News Corporation announced the launch of a new sixth television network, My Network TV, which would have Channel 13 and the other Fox-owned UPN stations, plus independent station KDFI in Dallas-Fort Worth, as the core group of stations. UPN continued to broadcast on stations across the country until September 15th, while some of the network's affiliates that switched to My Network TV, the network commenced on September 5th, 2006. Well, it was a network. Now it's a programming service, just like Ion Television. Those stations aired the final 2 weeks of UPN programs outside of its recommended prime time slot, which is 8 to 10 Eastern or 7 to 9 Central. The Fox-owned stations, including KCOP, would drop UPN entirely on August 31st, 2006. In September of that year, the station began identifying itself as My Network TV Channel 13. The brand would change again in May 2007, simplified to My 13 Los Angeles, rebranding to KCOP 13 and Fox 11 Plus, and time shifting of My Network TV programming. On July 12, 2021, KCOP changed its on-air branding to KCOP 13, dropping the My Network TV brand. The change of brand was accompanied by a move of My Network TV programming to late night and carrying Decades, which is now catchy comedy programming on weekdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., simulcasting the programming on sister station KTTV's 4th digital subchannel. As of September 14, 2015, the station began airing other programming in My Network TV's traditional 8 to 10 p.m. time slot, including TMZ Live and Hollywood Today Live. My Network TV's schedule was thus carried out of prime time in late nights from 11:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. on weeknights. This made Channel 13 the most high-profile station carrying My Network TV to move it out of prime time, along with the first Fox-owned station to do so. Gary, Indiana licensed WPWR-TV in Chicago moved My Network TV programming to 10 to midnight Central Time on September 1st, 2016, after assuming that market's CW affiliation from Tribune-owned WGN-TV and taking the CW as its primary affiliation. WPWR would later move My Network TV programming an hour earlier to 9 to 11 p.m. Central. A year later, with the failure of Hollywood Today Live and KCOP's other alternate programming, KCOP returned My Network TV back to the 8 to 10 p.m. slot on July 12, 2021. My Network TV's programming was moved again to late nights, running from midnight to 2 a.m. Pacific time, with off-network sitcoms filling prime time. As part of this, the station rebranded itself from My 13 to KCOP 13. In January 2023, KCOP would rebrand as Fox 11 Plus, a branding scheme used by other Fox-owned My Network TV stations that aligns them as a companion to their parent Fox station. On July 3rd, 2023, KCOP replaced the simulcast of catchy comedy programming with airings of Law & Order Special Victims Unit from 10 a.m. to noon, followed by the syndicated Dateline and TMZ Live. The schedule change also eliminated airings of Fox Soul's Black Report and the Fox Weather programming segments. At some point between then and September, the My Network TV schedule was moved to earlier in the day from 2 to 4 p.m. However, starting the week of December 11th, it was moved back to its traditional time slot of 8 to 10 p.m. Programming. Channel 13 may air Fox Network programming should it be preempted by KTTV for long-form breaking news or severe weather coverage or other special programming. Sports coverage. Channel 13 served as the broadcast home of the Los Angeles Marathon from its inception in 1986 until 2001, as well as the NBA's Los Angeles Clippers from 1991 to 1996, Major League Baseball's Los Angeles Dodgers from 2002 to 2005, Major League Baseball's Los Angeles Angels from 2006 to 2019, and since 2021. Also, Los Angeles FC from MLS from 2021 to 2022, and the NHL's Anaheim Ducks since 2024. Like many local stations in the earlier years of television, KCOP hosted its own weekly studio wrestling show for many years during the 70s. Stars such as Freddie Blassie, John Tolos, Rocky Johnson, Andre the Giant, and The Sheik headlined the shows with longtime local announcer Dick Lane behind the microphone, calling the action. In later years, pro wrestling returned to Channel 13 by way of World Wrestling Entertainment and its SmackDown brand, which aired on the station from 1999 to 2006 as a UPN station, and again from 2008 to 2010 as a My Network TV affiliate. In the past, Channel 13 also aired other wrestling programs, including World Class Championship Wrestling and the NWA. Channel 13 also televised live boxing matches, originating from the Grand Olympic Auditorium in downtown Los Angeles, on and off, from the late 1960s until as recently as the mid-90s, with legendary Los Angeles sportscaster Jim Healy calling the action in the early years. From 2005 to 2007, KCOP carried St. Louis Rams preseason games produced by now former corporate siblings Fox Sports Midwest and St. Louis Fox affiliate KTVI. Back in the 50s, during the team's early years in Los Angeles, the station broadcast many Rams regular season games before NFL games became more exclusive to the major broadcast networks like CBS, NBC, and the Dumont Television Network. However, in July 2008, the NFL's broadcast committee decided to no longer allow teams to broadcast preseason games beyond even their secondary markets. This was done more so to protect the league's broadcast partners, including KCBS-TV Channel 2 and KTLA Channel 5. At the time, the respected local broadcasters of the San Diego Chargers and Oakland Raiders preseason games. Chad's in the house was poppin'. From 2006 to 2011, KCOP held the broadcast rights to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim baseball team, which they and Fox Sports West, now known as FanDuel Sports Network West, signed a 20-year broadcast deal beginning with the 2012 season, making 150 annual Angels telecasts exclusive to Fox Sports West at the time, with select games airing on Prime Ticket, known today as FanDuel Sports Network SoCal, although Channel 13 still serves as an occasional overflow outlet. In the 2021 MLB season, KCOP was scheduled to air at least 4 Angels games due to delays in the NBA and NHL seasons caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2022, 2023, and 2024, KCOP carried one spring training game between the Angels and Dodgers featuring Angels broadcasters. And this year, KCOP and the Angels announced that 12 Sunday games would be simulcast on both Channel 13 and FanDuel Sports Network West. This package would be the largest amount of Angels games to air on the station since 2011. One additional Thursday game in May aired exclusively on Channel 13 due to conflicts on FanDuel Sports Network West. Due to its previous common ownership with Fox Sports West and Prime Ticket, Channel 13 served as an overflow channel for Bally Sports West and Bally Sports SoCal. During the 2011-2012 season, Channel 13 aired Game 6 of the Clippers playoff series against the Memphis Grizzlies on May 11th. Over-the-air coverage of the Clippers would move to Channel 5 prior to the 2022-2023 season. Meanwhile, Kings over-the-air coverage moved to KCAL-9 prior to the 2023-2024 season. During the 2017 NFL season, Channel 13 aired 2 Los Angeles Chargers home games as an overflow for the NFL on Fox during weeks when CBS had the doubleheader, but the LA Rams games were seen on Channel 11. In 2021, KCOP announced an agreement with Los Angeles FC of Major League Soccer to broadcast select matches alongside Bally Sports SoCal, which again is FanDuel Sports Network. In 2022, KCOP expanded its agreement to air games previously aired by what is now FanDuel Sports Network. LAFC games moved exclusively to MLS Season Pass prior to the 2023 season. However, in February of this year, KCOP aired LAFC, LA Galaxy, and Angel City FC matches from the Coachella Valley Invitational preseason tournament. In April of this year, Channel 13 announced a new agreement with LAFC to air encore matches on Tuesday nights. On August 27, 2024, the Ducks announced that they would not renew their contract with Bally, now FanDuel, and would partner with both Channel 13 and the Dallas Stars' free ad-supported streaming television platform Victory Plus to air all of its regional games beginning in the 2024-2025 NHL season, and select games will air on KTTV. News operation. For many years, KCOP added a primetime newscast at 10 p.m. as well as a weekday afternoon newscast at 2 p.m. During the late 70s and early 80s. During the 80s, the station paired its local 10 p.m. program with the syndicated Independent News Now, which was produced by New York City's WPIX. Channel 13's news programs generally were the lowest rated evening newscasts of the 7 VHF television stations in Los Angeles. The newscast length varied from 30 minutes to an hour depending on the station's budget. An ambitious attempt to relaunch Channel 13's news operation came in January 1993, when the 10 p.m. newscast was renamed Real News and introduced a new format that featured anchors moving around the station's newsroom, which is similar to the format pioneered by CITV or CITY-TV in Toronto, plus in-depth reports and news magazine elements. However, the new format, which accompanied technological improvements and an expansion of the news staff, did not pay off in the ratings, and Real News was scaled back to 30 minutes on weeknights in May of 1994, with the anchors now seated at a desk, with weekend newscasts being cut entirely. Shortly after this, the newscast would be rebranded as UPN News 13. For a brief period of time during the late 90s, KCOP tried airing a half-hour newscast weekdays at 3:30, which would later move to 7:30. However, when the station was purchased by Fox and its operations were merged with KTTV, Channel 13's newscast was moved to 11 p.m. to avoid direct competition with sister station Channel 11, which runs an hour-long newscast at 10, and trimmed it from an hour in length down to 30 minutes. The station's news production and resources also began to be handled by Channel 11. After Fox purchased the station, KCOP's late evening newscast took a more unconventional approach than its network-owned competition at KCBS-TV Channel 2, KABC-TV Channel 7, and KNBC Channel 4. To appeal to a younger audience, it mainly featured its female news anchors in slightly more revealing trendy clothing. Its news stories also tends to be much shorter in detail in a faster-paced format. In addition, it became the first station to emphasize entertainment and trend-setting feature stories as a major part of its format, an idea that attracted a large young demographic. Nevertheless, Channel 13's newscast continually placed fourth in the ratings, as it did when the station was competing at 10 p.m. against channels 11, 5, and 9. However, KCOP's news would draw substantially higher ratings against younger viewers, especially young Latinos. On April 10, 2006, KCOP's newscast was expanded from 30 minutes to an hour, which made it the only Los Angeles station with an hour-long newscast at 11 p.m. On August 14, 2006, the newscast was rebranded as My 13 News to reflect the station's pending My Network TV affiliation. With the purchase by Fox, many of Channel 13's former staff either left the station or were released. Reporter Hal Eisner was one of the remaining staffers who have been with Channel 13 since the Chris Kraft era, beginning there in the early 90s. Before that, however, he had worked at Channel 11 for a time from 1987 to 88. Today, Eisner files reports for Channel 11. On December 1st, 2008, KCOP would shorten its 11 p.m. newscast to a half hour. which became anchored by KTTV's 10 p.m. anchors Christine Devine and Carlos Amezcua, as it was considered an extension of the earlier newscasts. The newscast's retitling to Fox News at 11 marketed the end of a KCOP branded and produced newscast. On September 10, 2012, Channel 13 launched a half-hour 7 p.m. newscast on weeknights that also used the Fox News brand. This newscast was also anchored by Amezcua and Devine. On August 9, 2013, KCOP announced the cancellation of both of their evening newscasts at 7 and 11 p.m., which would end a 5-decade run of news programming on the station. Its final newscast would air on September 22nd, 2013. In both 2018 and 2022, Channel 13 aired Good Day LA from 7 to 9 a.m. due to KTTV airing select FIFA World Cup matches in the morning. This marked a temporary return to news programming on Channel 13 since the cancellation of KTTV-produced newscasts in 2013. On March 3rd of this year, Channel 11 launched LA Live News Tonight, a weeknight primetime newscast that runs on Channel 13 from 8 to 10 p.m., which directly competes with Channel 9. And in KTTV's 11 p.m. newscast, Good Night LA, is simulcast on Channel 13. Joey's up in the building. What's up? Nice bowling tonight, bro. All right, notable alumni on KCOP include Ross Becker, Harold Dow, Tom Duggan, Harris Faulkner, Hal Fishman, Gary Franklin, Vic Jacobs, also known as The Brick, Robert Kovacek, Tawny Little, Larry McCormick, Jose Mota, Kent Nino Mia, Charlie O'Donnell, Warren Olney, Regis Philbin, Bill Press, George Putnam, Lawrence Sanchez, Bill Seward, Mark Thompson, and Betty White. Technical information and subchannels. The station's ATSC 1.0 channels are carried on the multiplex signals of other Los Angeles television stations. Channel 13.1 at 720p HD in a 16:9 aspect ratio format is KCOP, which is My Network TV. Its ATSC 1.0 host is KTLA. Channel 13.2 at 480i HD and a 16:9 aspect ratio is the classic game show network Buzzer. Its ATSC 1.0 host is KCBS TV. On Channel 13.3 at 480i HD and a 16:9 aspect ratio is Movies. ATSC 1.0 host is KNBC. And on Channel 13.4 at 480i HP 16:9 aspect ratio is Heroes and Icons. ATSC 1.0 is its sister station, KTTV. On November 4th, 2011, Fox television station signed an affiliation agreement with Bounce TV for Channel 13 and its New York sister station, WWOR-TV. KCOP began carrying Bounce TV on digital subchannel 13.2 on March 8, 2012, while WWOR added the network on its 9.3 subchannel 2 weeks earlier, on February 24th. The network has also been added to the subchannels of Fox-owned My Network TV stations in 5 other markets, including WUTB in Baltimore, KUTP in Phoenix, KRBW in Orlando, KDFI in Dallas-Fort Worth, and WFTC in Minneapolis, St. Paul. The Baltimore affiliation has since moved to a sub-channel of ABC station WMAR-TV, soon after Fox sold off my network TV outlet WUTB to Deerfield Media, presently operated by Sinclair Broadcast Group. In 3 other markets where Fox owns my network TV stations, including WPWR-TV Chicago, KTXH Houston, and WDCA Washington, D.C. Bounce TV is carried on the sub-channel space of other competing stations in those 3 markets, and all of them are in the top 10. As a result of Bounce TV signing a new carriage agreement with Univision Communications in 2014, the network moved to the 3rd sub-channel of Univision-owned and operated station KMEX Channel 34 on March 9, 2015. Buzzer, a new digital multicast network focusing on classic game shows, which is a joint venture of Fremantle Media, most notably the owners of the Mark Goodson and Reg Grundy libraries, among others, and Channel 13's parent company Fox Television Stations, debuted on Channel 13.2 on June 1st, 2015. On September 18th, 2015, Weigel Broadcasting and Fox Television Stations announced an affiliation agreement to carry multicast network Heroes and Icons on sub-channels of Fox-owned stations in New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Phoenix, Detroit, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Orlando, and Charlotte, beginning October 1st, 2015. Analog to digital conversion. KCOP-TV shut down its analog signal over VHF Channel 13 on June 12, 2009, as part of the federally mandated transition from analog to digital television. The station's digital signal relocated from its transition period UHF Channel 66, which was among the high-band UHF channels from 52 to 69 that were removed from broadcasting use as a result of the transition, and moved to its current analog-era VHF Channel 13. ATSC 3.0 Lighthouse. As mentioned, KCOP is the ATSC 3.0 station for Los Angeles. And here are the sub-channels for Channel 13, including KCBS TV Channel 2.1, which is CBS with DRM encryption, and KNBC Channel 4.1, which is NBC, also with DRM encryption. There's also KTLA Channel 5, which is the CW. That's 5.1. Sorry about that. Its sister Fox-owned and operated station, KTTV Channel 11.1. And KCOP Channel 13.1, which is my network TV. And finally, as we wrap up, we'll look at the translators for KCOP-TV. There are 5 of them, including K21MH Channel 21, Daggett, California, K27ON Channel 27, Lucerne Valley, K30GU Channel 30 in Morongo Valley, K33ID Channel 33 in Ridgecrest, and K17GJ Channel 17, 29 Palms, California. Okay, that is a look at the history of KCOP-TV from its earlier days under Copley Fresh and then Chris Kraft ownership to a Fox-owned and operated station and the West Coast affiliate, or West Coast flagship, rather, of my network TV. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It will be the last one until football season wraps up in February. And when we reconvene in 6 months, we'll be talking about KCOP-TV 9, plus the local Telemundo, Univision, PBS, and Unimas stations in the area. So that will be coming up in February as we resume this series. And with that, as you know, football season is almost here. We got about 11 days until college football season starts. And 23 days until the NFL. So what's going to happen is we're going to be banging out a ton of football content all season long. Later on today, we'll be looking at the new AP, the new preseason AP and coaches polls for the 2025, for weeks 0 and 1 of the 2025 college football season. And we'll be looking at newer polls on Mondays, with the exception of the week 2 rankings. Those will be dropped on Tuesday. Tuesday is also my NFL recap, the week that was, where I give you statistical numbers from every game in the NFL. And we'll be doing this from week 1 of the regular season all the way to the Super Bowl. That will be on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we'll be taking a look at the college football television schedule, plus the announcers from every game. Shout out to 506 Sports for that. And then on Thursdays, we'll be taking a look at my NFL picks, both straight up and against the spread, plus the injury report for Thursday Night Football. And we'll also take a look at the Sunday afternoon injury report right around the time the network pregame shows on CBS and Fox began. This will be around noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And also on the week that was, I will tell you about my power rankings every single week. That's also on Tuesday. So, plenty of football content coming to the channel starting later on today, as it is now 12:05 a.m. here in Phoenix on August 12th. So with that, thanks for watching episode 20 of TV Station History. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. We will catch you for the football content starting later on this afternoon. And as for TV Station History, we will return in February for episode 21 and beyond. Until then, peace out. Okay, we didn't have